solo is back. This time we are going past the pentatonic and we're looking at the full major scale. Printable tabs by becoming a Patreon in the notes. You'll also see the links in the description, including my email if you want some one-on-one lessons. Let's do it. Let's learn how to solo with the major scale. Let's get the 4th and the 7th in on this mix. Follow me on in, grab your ukulele brain attention span, and let's do it.
Now, most of everything that we've done up to this point has been with the pentatonic scale. If I look at C major pentatonic shape 1, it's 0-2, 0-3, 0-3. Penta, of course, means 5. So this is a 5-note scale. C, D, E, G, A. By the time I get to here, it's C again, so it just repeats. Well, the C major scale is C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So why are these two notes removed from the pentatonic scale? It's because it gets rid of all the half steps. You'll notice from C to D is a whole step, and then from D to E is another whole step. E to G is a step and a half. G to A is a whole step, and then A to C is a step and a half. These half steps, meaning just one note, can create the most dissonance. And the dissonance is that kind of uncomfortable sound that your ear doesn't really like. If I take a C chord and I replace the E note for an F, it sounds nice. That's a C suspended 4. But if I take the C and play the E and the F together, I get something that's not as nice. It's because the E and the F are clashing. The B note is a little easier to manage because that 7th sound has a little sweeter sound. The 4th is a tough note to manage, but you can use it and you can solo with it, and that's what we're going to learn how to do today. So our first riff looks and sounds like this. And our backing track is just going from a C to a G7. So you could repeat this exercise with someone you know and just go back and forth between a C and a G7 and a C and a G7 and a C and a G7. So why these two particular chords? Well, we're in the key of C, so it's nice to have our root chord. But the G7 has both the F note and the B note. And in fact, that's why your 5 chord going to 1 is the strongest and most satisfying resolution in all of music. Because your F goes to E and your B goes to C. See how this note moves up 1 and this one moves down 1. And those two half-step resolutions are extremely satisfying. G, of course, being the 5 chord of the key of C, and it's the dominant. So the dominant 5 to the 1 is the most satisfying and strongest resolution in all of music. And that's why it's a perfect place to solo and use both the B note and the F note over these chords. So our first riff, nice and slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Landing on that F. A G chord turns into a G7 when you add an F note to it. So this riff again, 3rd fret of the E string, 5th fret, 3rd fret 2 times, let it ring out, 5th fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 1st fret. And notice that when I go from the 5th fret of the A string to the 5th fret of the E, I use just my ring finger. Makes it a lot easier that way. Okay. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So why don't we go ahead and play this with the backing track so we can hear how that sounds. Another riff, again resolving here on the first fret. We're going to do this one like this. So this time we're approaching the F from the E note. And what we're going to do is we're going to play 5, 3, 5, 3, 1. We're using it as a passing tone as well. 0, 2, 0, 1. All eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. If you're a little more advanced and you want to, you can give this lick a lot of flavor with pull-offs and slides. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Something to keep in mind. All right, let's play this one with the backing track. So we've seen how the fourth interval works, the F. Let's take a look at the seventh, the B. Our first lick for this is going to sound like this. All right, so we're going to play 5, 3, 2, 0, 3, 3, 2. And again, when you're using these licks that are going from one note to the other, and they're right above each other, it's beneficial if you can learn how to use that same finger. And what you're doing is you're playing on the tip of your finger, then rolling it to the pad. All right, so then this riff one more time, nice and slow, so we get in our fingers. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1. Let's try this one with the backing track. Another. Okay, so lick number 4. This one is based on a C major 7 arpeggio, all chord tones. So we're using the scale, but C, E, G, C, B, G, B. Those are all notes of the C major 7. Until, of course, we get to this B7. Open C string, open E, 3rd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, back to the G note, back to the 2nd fret. So this one, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Very, very cool. Let's try this one to the backing track. And I have 1/5 lick. A lot of times the resolutions on these are very, very on the 1 because we're illustrating these points and I want the resolution to be very clear. But on this one, we resolve the lick on the and because I do want to illustrate that you don't have to resolve licks on the 1. You can, but it's not the only way to resolve them. So this lick sounds like this. Very similar to the last lick, but instead of resolving on the first beat, we go back to the G and then back to the B. So it's 5, 3, 2, 0, 1 and 2 and 3, 3rd fret, but instead of going to the 2nd fret, we go back to the 3rd fret on the 1 and then hit the B on the and. 1 and. All right, and that's a very, very, very nice resolution. We get 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. All right, let's put that final lick to the backing track. And there you have it, folks. That is 5 licks to solo with the major scale to show you how you can go past the pentatonic. Be very, very careful using the 4th and the 7th, and make sure you're resolving on these notes over a chord that has them, right? So it doesn't have to be the G7, but make sure that the chord you're landing on does have that note. So if you're in the key of C, for example, E minor has a B note. F has an F. So does D minor. D minor has an F. B diminished 7 looks a lot like a G7, but it doesn't have a G note. It has both the F and the B as well. So make sure you're landing on those notes over chords that have that tone. Otherwise, it's going to be very dissonant. And there you have it, folks. That is Past the Pentatonic, how to solo with the major scale, specifically how to incorporate the 4th and the 7th interval. Yeah.
Cool, everyone. Thank you so much for watching to the very end of the lesson. Here at tenthumbsproductions.com, we believe in you. And clearly, if you made it this far, you believe in yourself. So now you have that B note and the F note in the key of C, or the 4 and the 7 in any key. You can take your soloing to the next step, make it more jazzy, more sophisticated, a little more of an adult thing. All right. Remember, this is from the series From Scale to Solo, so check out the hashtag if you like what we're doing here, and think about becoming a Patreon, cheaper than a cheap cheeseburger. Until next time, rock and roll, have a lovely day.